in this session today, we listen to 4 speakers on the theoretical background for the European Green Deal and the role of innovation and Japanese experience. And also, we touched upon the carbon border adjustment measures. And also, we hear the industry perspective and contribution to the carbon neutral target. I really would like to thank all of you for the wonderful presentation. And we got a question from the audience, but I just like to put together categorize the question to Dr. Schmidt, as a moderator, and I'd like to ask you, there are we understand the theoretical rationale for the carbon pricing, but there are many concerns, and you mentioned the importance of the public acceptance, and there are many concerns about negative impact of competitiveness of industries and losing out of the employment, and also negative impact on the poorer economies where people cannot afford the increased costs. That kind of concerns. And actually, from the audience, we got that kind of questions and concerns. That is my number one. And second is how you mentioned that the carbon border adjustment measures to avoid carbon leakage, but what is the European strategy to involve the large emitters like China and other emerging economies? That is my question number 2. And my last question is, how perfect is the price signals and market information for especially for the products and services which has a long tail and a long value chain, and how you can measure the carbon price and carbon footprint? That is my last question. But sorry, I ran out of time. But if you could comment briefly some of my questions from the audience.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to respond. First of all, I think I'd like to congratulate the organizers for orchestrating this sequence of presentations, especially what Professor Popp has pointed out is such a perfect complement to what I have been saying. Carbon pricing is meant, in my opinion, to be a leading instrument. So of course we need research policy, and I think that was very well taken by Professor Popp. Dr. Arimura, a double dividend is exactly what I was talking about, and also a very, very nice complement to my remarks, because carbon pricing offers the opportunity to engage into a comprehensive tax reform, releasing some previous breaks to growth and enabling more growth. Now, what you asked, Mr. Vice President, is very well taken. The issue of burden sharing is very important at the national level and at the international level. At the national level, for low-income households, because we need to compensate them using the revenue from pricing, at least to a good extent, to compensate the higher burden, the larger burden borne by low-income households. And at the European level, you need to have acceptance of all member states. And that's also a matter of the initial allocation of the emission trading certificates. So there are solutions, but definitely they need to be taken. It's not a matter that we could put on the back burner. The efficient pricing solution needs to come along one-to-one with a good approach to compensation and to retaining acceptance. And what you asked about the competitiveness issues, especially for those products where the value chains are long and you would have to really go step by step along this value chain back to determine the carbon content at each stage. This is very intricate. And so nothing beats an international alliance to carbon pricing that makes it less relevant whether we know these contents, because we have a common approach to carbon pricing. What's the EU's approach? Well, I very much hope that they will, as standing offer to all other participants at the negotiating table, they will, the European policymakers, European representatives will always adamantly require us to think of the ultimate objective of having a common global carbon pricing system, and understand each step along the way towards that issue as a step towards the optimal solution. This is the only really conceivable promising strategy that I could think of, and I very much hope that sessions such as these, with such a high content of consensus about these issues, will contribute to that. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you very much, Dr. Schmidt, for the detailed explanation, and thank you, Professor Arimura. Professor Arimura and Dr. Paolo Gaglioni. We don't have time to listen to your response, but thank you all for the very wonderful and excellent presentation. That was very exciting and insightful. Thank you again for all of you.